All right, here we go.
We got dial up.
I'm just kidding. I didn't have a printer going that was making the giant noises. All right, everybody. Welcome to the live with the real Scotch Test Dummies and Eric's Drink Whiskey. I am Eric.
I'm Eric.
Scott?
I'm Eric.
That's good. Yeah,
I feel like we're all Spartacus. I am Spartacus.
Alrighty, so if you weren't in tune to last year, I think we gave Scott COVID with the famous grouse. Because it was literally right after that came out that Scott came down with the funk. So we apologize. I'm hoping that this has the elixir in it that'll speed things back up again. So
this is the Delta variant now.
this is this could be Lambda. I don't know.
they're gonna get the video flagged.
That's right. Yep. Sorry. Yep.
Like,
Whoop,
man,
whoop.
misinformation.
What? Anyway,
Whiskey doesn't actually cure anything.
right. So this is the Modelo virus, not the corona. Anyway, so previously we did a famous grouse blind tasting with Scott while Eric and I were together at his place. What we like to do is we try to find those hidden gems that nobody really kind of knows about. We try to stick, we either find some kind of off-brand or something like that, and just, is it worth it? Is it not? That's kind of what we like to do. So we did that with Scott earlier. Had some success with it. We didn't like any of them except for the last one, for the most part. Pretty much for that's concerned, and that was the naked grouse, I believe. We really enjoyed that one. I think it was $33 for that, but really enjoyed that one. But
Because it was naked.
yeah, it was naked.
Who doesn't like bacon?
Right. Naked's good. Well, generally.
So quick history on the origin of this little show that we started. So Eric and I are best friends from the Boy Scouts growing up.
Wow. There you go.
Worked on summer camp staff together, both Eagle Scouts. Both were lodge chiefs in the Order of the Arrow, and both just progress. I went to college about 30 minutes where he lived, so we kept our friendship going throughout the years. During COVID, we started a little kind of sample swapping group. We'd drop blind samples off, and I'd mail them to Eric, and then we'd all kind of get on a Zoom towards the end and do a little blind review type thing. But towards the end of that, Eric and I were just like, well, let's get on YouTube, see if we can do something crazy with it. We're just kind of having fun with some stuff, and the main thing we wanted to do was to, number one, we didn't want to bring any highfalutincy to the whiskey hobby that isn't already there because there's too much of it. We're huge fans of y'all's show since its inception because of that. That's why we liked it. We like whiskey. We like drinking whiskey how we like to drink it, and we want everybody else to do that. And there's no reason to bring too much snootiness into it. It's whiskey, so it's kind of how we got into it as far as this show is concerned. And then Eric and I have always said, hey, we don't care about subscribers. We don't care about making money off of this. As long as you're having fun doing it and willing to do it, me and him will do this every week. So that's kind of how we've been with this show. Eric, I'm talking too much. If you want to jump in.
No, that's fine. Yeah, we kind of realized towards the tail end of that, the tasting group, that we were the only two that were actually taking it serious and that weren't hopping on the tasting already half lit. And I was like, we've got Zoom, we've got whiskey, and we've got a little bit of knowledge between the two of us. Obviously, we've been friends for 15 years, and just kind of ran with it. It was a lot of fun. We've got a core group of folks that really enjoy our stuff, and we really enjoy our stuff, and I think that's the most important part.
We buy in our own shit,
There'd be a problem if you didn't.
Right.
I feel like our show sucks. This is terrible.
I'm done.
Are we filming?
Yeah,
tonight?
this is a terrible show we're bringing to you, but we're not stopping.
We're committed to it.
Maybe
but
we'll get better. Maybe
Yeah,
we won't.
I think we're getting worse, but we ain't quitting at it. That's the key.
the whiskey will taste better towards the end of it. Depends on where we're at.
Don't quit with the Erics. Boom.
So between our hectic work schedules, because Eric was working from home for a little while during COVID, obviously the golf course industry is an outside industry, so there was never work from home for me. But I've got 2 kids. Eric is kidless, so between that, his schedule, we try to do what we can and when we can do it.
I like to say kidless that he knows about. I don't know you, Eric. I'm just messing around.
There was that time in Reno,
Right. Yeah.
But anywho, so what got us into whiskey? So I grew up pretty much in a dry household in Northwest Georgia in the Bible Belt, but I had another best friend of mine from high school whose father was huge into the single malts, and my very first whiskey I ever had at an age.
Come on now.
At an age.
I was 12.
I was 16.
There you go. Beat you.
I was 16. I still look 16, but I was 16 at that time. So I had Lefroy 18.
Ooh, there's a starter.
Was the very first Scotch I ever had, very first whiskey I ever had. And to this day, that is my reasoning why I am a peat head, because I don't think I would have tried it just out on my own. So the only reason I'm into peated Scotch is because of that.
Look at that.
There you go.
There we go.
Come on now. Come on now. Come on now.
Come on. Come on.
Oh, you got to put your hand like right there.
There it goes.
There we go.
Yeah,
So
now
yes.
mine was, my first taste was because me and a buddy named Nathan were watching, back when there were only like 3 channels and you kind of were stuck with what was on. We were bored and we're watching a black and white.
They might not know that.
That's true. You guys are you're like, what? What are you talking about?
My mama had one of those TVs.
There you go. Yeah, well, that's what we had. We were bored enough. We were watching a black and white John Wayne movie on like a Saturday, and there were no parents around. And of course, he bellied up to the bar. They threw some shot glasses down, and he's like, "Man, I wonder what that tastes like." And I'm like, "Well, there's this old bottle of, I think it was Wild Turkey that my dad had at some party that they don't drink. Let's try it." And we both sampled that. And we're like, "Oh my God, this is terrible, terrible." Then we noticed Mom had put a little Sharpie mark on it, so I threw a little extra water in there and threw it back underneath. So, but I did revisit it when I was a senior in high school, but that's another story.
Eric?
I never really dabbled in whiskey until I was of legal age, and it was because my boss at the time was a big Woodford Reserve fan, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna Woodford Reserve's fancy. I'm gonna try this, and it was just too damn sweet for me, and I was like, well, maybe bourbon isn't for me. And then a couple years later, a friend of ours was he'd spent some time out west, and I was like, oh, he's rugged. And Bullet was his drink of choice, and I was like, okay, Bullet was more my speed, but it kind of fell off. And it really wasn't until I found a bottle of Henry McKenna bottled in bond that I was like, wow, this stuff is really, really good. About the same time that everyone else realized that Henry McKenna was really, really good, and that's actually how Eric and I got into this hobby together, because I called him up and I was like, I can't find this anywhere. And he's like, yeah, you're not going to, but try this. It's pretty close. It's made by the same distillery, or this. And then that kind of just opened up the wormhole of, distilleries and brands and labels and things that taste the same. And I blame him for this room devoted to whiskey now.
Sweet.
There we go. So, and with how we've done recording and how I like to, because we try to play the, straight cat, funny guy type of thing, but I always say the reason I dress so crazily is to take the flutency out of it. I'll put on a damn crazy hat or sunglasses or an ascot. That's what Minnick wears. I'll put something dumb like that or whatever, just to just to kind of bring it down a notch. Bring it back down to our level. But
don't believe that for a minute. That's just how he dresses.
There you go. This is pretty close to me. I call it visual whimsy.
The fact that I have the clothes is a telling part. That's the.
Bart and I have been friends and worked together for years, but in 2013, well, probably 2011, 2012, we were working together on overlapping shifts. We'd kind of been talking about doing this, getting it started, reviewing whiskey on YouTube.
Right.
So late 2013, we finally were like, if we're going to do it, let's do it.
Yeah.
So we jumped in there, and the same, and our goal was to take the high fluency out of it.
Right.
Make it palatable, make it fun, make it for the average person that wants to know about whiskey.
Well, we weren't experts. So the idea was, one, we got a reason to hang out together because at the time at one point we were working in different areas.
Oh, yeah.
But it was also a way to visually, through the show, track our journey. Or I'm a nerd, so I called it our quest. He doesn't. You were more like, let's just say it's the show.
Bart, I think we're pretty close.
Yeah, I'm headed to like Middle Earth on my whiskey quest, and he's like, "That's stupid."
I still don't like journey or quest.
Oh, it's a quest.
It implies it's going to end at some time.
No, you could be a quester. You could be a continual
I
quester.
don't know.
Throw a Nick Saban quote out there. It's the process.
There you go.
Nice.
It never ends. It just
That's
keeps
what
going.
he would go with. He would go with the process.
Roll Tide.
Yeah.
Roll Tide.
I would go with a questing journey and then throw in like some kind of nerd
Live
symbol.
long and prosper.
Right, yes. Infinite diversity.
There we go.
Actually, one of our funniest things was when we started, we both like Scotch. We can always come back to that. But we actually were looking in the liquor store and we're like, well, I think we might run out of Scotch to try after a while. And then we realized that is a journey that just continues to open.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's bottomless. It's really interesting. I don't mean that in a dirty way.
I had thought by the time we get to 100 whiskey reviews, we'll pretty much have tapped out our local market.
Yeah, what are we going to do now? We're going to revisit.
We're well over 800 reviews. I think coming up on 900 actual like bottle reviews.
Right. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And that's, I can still go into any liquor store and find something we haven't reviewed.
Yeah. Well, then we did venture into rye and bourbons and world whiskeys. I remember the first time I grabbed an en route fusion, $70, saw it on the shelf, thought Indian whiskey mixed with some Scottish influence. What's going on? Who knows? Grab it. Come over to his house. He's like, "You just picked this up?" Yeah. Blind? Yeah. How much? $70. He goes, "Man, would you have done that a year and a half ago?" I go, "Oh, hell no."
Yeah. I still thought he was crazy then. I'm like, you don't even know anything about it.
Yeah, you know
whiskey.
nothing. We're going to open it and give it a shot.
We're like, man, that's good.
Yeah, and we like it.
I call those stumbling across happy accidents. I was like, hell, I might like it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and that started our world whiskey, and we were I had a Yamazaki 18 before it was non-existent, and then a 12, and then that blew. We were probably like 5 months. I wish we would have found that 2 years prior when it was everywhere.
Oh yeah.
But that's everything. So
I was that way with Famous Grouse 18-year-old, which was I just call it poor man's Macallan, but you could get some good sherry to impart into that Famous Grouse 18. Yep.
this is what he likes to do. If he would tell me at my house, "You got that? Where is it?" I'm like, "I don't have it." And he'd look and go, "There it is." I was like, "Damn, how do you know my shelf?" Because you're dumb.
I found a store in Atlanta one time that had 6 bottles of them and they were trying to get rid of them, and they had marked them down to $45, and I cleared them out. I was like, well, this is not getting made anymore. I gotta get it.
Yeah, that's when you're checking out, and the owner's like, "What are you doing?" And you're like, "Finish ringing me up, and I'll let you know."
Yeah, it's capitalism. Ring me up.
Yeah.
Well, and rumors were that's all Highland Park and Macallan.
Yeah. So I was just like, well, if I can get an 18-year-old product, which at any point that's 18-year-old, it's sherried, either Highland Park or Macallan, whatever blend it was, for even the retail was $60. If I knock it down to 45, that's hell. They should. I should owe them money.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, but so. Eric, if you want to start diving into our samples 1 through 4/5, and we can go over whether we think these whiskeys are worth the crap or not.
You have to apologize for my friend. We both went to Georgia public schools, so that's where the mathematics skills come from.
I like it.
So, yeah, we can start with sample 1. I know we've both done our own kind of separate, tastings of these. So I figured we'll just chat about them and see what we liked and didn't like. I've got mine poured here as kind of a reminder. I did take notes, which they do teach you in Georgia to do. So I've got something to go off of.
All right, we are at S1.
So this one for me right off the bat on the nose, it was like strawberries and cream. It was like a real weird, kind of a young barley note, but really blended well into the nose on it.
I got a young grain right up front on the nose. That was the first thing I got. Caramels and vanillas.
And I listed sweet vanilla, tangerine, fruit.
Yeah, some berries, almost some sort of a sherry influence, possibly.
Yeah, I also put grain sweet.
I remember initially tasting this one prior to this, and all I thought was just, this is straight dessert whiskey. Something I would pair with like a cheesecake or a pie or something. It was very strawberries and cream, a lot of caramel, but it was just real. It was very sweet.
The thing I liked about it, though, it smells young, but it didn't really taste that young. I mean, it was nice and malty. It had a little bit of oak on it. Mm-hmm. It was still super sweet, but yeah, that youth didn't come through on the palate.
It did for me, and once I got it, I can't shake it. But overall, I still noted a decent mouthfeel with it. It's got kind of a lingering effect, but I got that grainy note up front, and it's still there. It just comes off to me as a younger whiskey. Yeah, some of those fruity sherry notes in there as well.
I get the grain, and then what I really liked about it was the oak that comes through is like that old dried oak that I now call it, after being and being in some dunnage warehouses where you get that wood, almost like a musky flavor, and that surprised me. I didn't think that was going to be in there.
And it nicely balanced out that sweetness there on the end. It really tamped that down a little bit.
Hit up number 2.
Yeah, man.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, when do we find out what that is? I kind of like that one.
Towards the end there, we'll do the big reveal here.
You said that, yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, you want to
this
do
one was
glass? Yeah, because I want to hold that one. I like that one. I'm
Well,
hoping that one's real inexpensive too.
And if you can't find it, Bart, we'll make arrangements.
I like the way you talk.
This one to me was
Save a little bit.
and I was reading my tasting notes and I was like, I don't remember getting that, but as soon as I stuck it up to my nose, it's like 100% like a musty caramel.
It was like a funky Jello.
Interesting. I also had very unique notes on this. I said marshmallow cream, moon pie, marshmallow cake, butterscotch pudding, chocolate drizzle.
I texted Eric as soon as I heard your review on that note, and on that whiskey, I said, "Oh my gosh, that is his notes for that second sample." I'm so excited.
Yeah, I was like, "Whoa!" And that was the one where you were like, maybe your nose was still, because you're still got some lingering COVID. You're like, "Man, I'm not getting all that."
Yeah,
stuff.
I didn't get. To me, it was pretty similar to the first one.
Right, because we did a live teasing with our channel that we were coming on yours, and so we used that time to sample these. So, and that was when we made the notes. It's funny, I'm not picking the marshmallow up now. I still get kind of that cake. It's weird. It's like a moist cake smell, but what you would taste. That is one thing I love with whiskey. Is we learn to just say stuff, and it's weird when I'm smelling what is a taste description, and it's so odd.
That's our friends give us so much crap. Of course, we're, our Georgia roots start showing, especially when we talk about whiskey, but we'll be like, yeah, it's like if you walk down in a damp church basement holding a piece of cake, and they're like, what?
Yeah, with buttercream on it. You're like, huh?
Yeah.
Now, see, I got a burnt caramel on this one. A little bit of the grainy note as well. It's drier than sample number 1 and not as sweet, not as much of a rich palate as number 1 has.
Yeah. I got a grapey, raisiny note, and then like the not stellar chocolate that covers like those Queen Anne cherries.
The bad chocolate, as you called it earlier.
Yeah.
Not as much youth or grain as number 1.
I list from taste a touch of chocolate coffee. It feels like a lower ABV, slight touch of pepper I get on it, which I really liked, and then a touch of wood in there as well.
That was a nice one. That'd be a good one with like a steak or a rib roast or something like that. Go good with beef, I think.
Beef products,
I'm a terrible pairer because I will usually not drink whiskey with a meal. I don't know. It must just be me.
I do one time a year. I drink. I have a 21-year-old Lagavulin sherried that I pull out on my birthday for a steak, and that's about as much as I'll drink whiskey with food. Most of the time, it's either beer or whatever, or a light beer or water or something. But I'm kind of saying I know what pairs with what just from being in some weird culinary classes. But no, my general self, I don't like to pair. I don't like to put stuff with food.
90% of the time, the closest I get is I'll drink whiskey while I'm grilling a steak.
I think the weirdest thing I've ever had is we were at a guy who had a heck of a collection. Sorry, and he had a Port Ellen. What year was that? Was that the?
It was the 32 or 33 year Port Ellen.
So he had several, and Scott said, "Hey, can we try one of those?" Yeah, and we tried it, and I was amazed. I wasn't sure because usually the older ones I don't always like as much. And I tried it. And then he said, open a drawer over there. And he had those little miniature Hershey Kiss, not Hershey Kiss, like a Hershey's milk chocolate bar, but the little minis that are given out at Halloween. He said, put that in your mouth. Don't chew it. Just kind of let it melt. And when it's about half gone, take another sip. And that milk chocolate, really cheap Hershey's milk chocolate mixed with that whiskey, it was like a whole different creamy thing. And that was probably the best pairing, and I would have never paired that with that whiskey, but it was his whiskey. He's like, you got to try this, and I was like, wow. So,
all right, think we can head to number 3.
Number 3.
I'll give you a lemongrass maltiness that I'm replacing the grain on this with a malting. Yeah. So lemongrass maltiness.
You're on 3, Scott.
2.
Okay, that was 2. Okay,
before we moved on.
Yep.
That one's good too.
I had to wait for Bart to get done talking.
Sorry. I need paper now. You mess with me.
That happens here too. I tend to ramble a lot.
Yeah. Let the water go.
Sometimes I don't even hear him. I just
Eric and I laugh on, we're being such good friends, best friends, 15 years, and we're literally not the same person. Like whiskey and scouts is about the only thing we have in common.
we've got a lot in common, so I think it's almost upsetting when we're vastly different on something. A little bit.
Not anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
used to it.
Yeah. He's used to it. Yeah, it's all me that's. Yeah, I've gotten used to your quirks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
I think the fact that y'all disagreed there was perfect. It was unplanned perfectness to that to the end of that.
Yeah.
I'm clearing it out.
Okay. See, I'm waiting for Bart once again.
Yeah, he finishes quick. That's what he's known for. What?
There it is. There it is. There it is.
Why'd you have to go there?
I went somewhere.
Now I got to focus.
Focus on the whiskey. Focus on the
Yeah,
whiskey.
got to bring her back. I will say that's one of the nice things is when we started the show, every once in a while, my wife would see like all the bottles or something, go, "Oh, hey, what is this?" And I'd be like, "It's for the show."
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd be like,
it's almost like
that worked for a while. And then she was like, "Hey," so
yeah, that was mine too. I was like, hey, I need to get a couple bottles for the show. Oh, okay. And now it's, you sure you don't have something you can review already?
How much more whiskey can they make? I said, honey. We got to keep going. You know, as long as they're going, we're going.
that's right.
Citrus blast up front on this one.
Yeah,
Citrus.
Yeah, I got
lemon,
like
vanilla.
like a lemongrassy. I get a little bit of a black pepper or a ginger, kind of something a little bit like a punchy bite on it.
I get the ginger on that. This is more of like I get more like a Tootsie Pop cherry candy coating on the front there with some ginger.
yeah. I listed light, crisp, slight fruit, ginger. I think what surprised me taste-wise, it was, and it still is, it was drier. It was more astringent than I thought it was going to be, and then I still get like almost like a dried apricot.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think the thing that surprised me about like that initial mouthfeel is like, you know, with like cask strength bourbons and stuff, it's like that thick, syrupy. This was like it was thick, but it was like warm, like not tempered. It just felt warm.
Inviting like a coy Dutch woman guarding a dark secret. You know?
Ooh, hey.
Very specific.
That's a Parks and Rec quote.
Oh, God, I didn't even know what I'm like. Coy Dutch. Wow.
That's why I was like, what whiskey did you send us?
I'm like, I want to meet Helga.
Floral, got some floral notes. Some nice milk chocolate, milk caramel, caramel if you're fancy.
Yeah. The mouthfeel, I agree with you. The mouthfeel is that warming, velvety kind of coating that makes me not want to sip right away again. I want to wait until it kind of dissipates.
Yeah.
This one compared to the previous two, it doesn't have an extreme to it. I thought the first one was like extremely sweet. I thought the second one was a lot more drier. This one is a little more balanced for me when it comes to that.
And the one thing I have to say about whatever this lineup is that wasn't true for the Famous Grouse is with the Famous Grouse, there were 2 or 3 of them that were very, very similar.
Very.
You know, within a note or two of each other. And all 3 of these have been distinctly different.
I agree. Yeah, I was asking questions to him like, man, these don't feel like they're all from the same distillery or the same company. And he's like, I don't know anything about, so I mean, we're totally blind.
Well, I don't know. I don't think they're distinctly different.
Man, they feel very different.
Maybe that's just my lack of palate, but
well, I wouldn't say that.
Hindered palate.
Hindered palate.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, you want to hit a 4?
Let me finish this one here.
And like I said, towards the end of it, if y'all like any of these to the point of you want some, like I said, well, I'll reach out to you and we can make that happen.
I do think 3 is probably my favorite so far.
Mm-hmm.
I'd agree, Scott.
Best finish.
Rinse out with that good Florida sulfur water.
I'm rereading my notes on the 4th one. I'm excited to taste this one again.
We prefer to call it 5.
Yeah, for those watching, ours was mislabeled.
Yeah, that's all right.
We got samples 1, 2, 3, and 5.
Yeah, we love it.
Your 4 was the best whiskey on the planet. I don't know where it went.
That's our luck.
Yep. We're like, man, that was so good. It didn't even come our way.
Yeah, hell, I had a Kill Karen 21 in there. You know?
This one might be the closest one where it felt like it was related because the nose I list ginger fruit and then vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
This one actually noses similar to what a bourbon would for me normally.
Yeah, there's a little like oaky mustiness in there. But yeah, some of those same citrus notes and things too.
Wow.
So really, I mean, vanillas, lemongrass, citrus, little bit of tropical fruits.
Got a good nose now. The flavor on this one is where it really jumps out for me. I get a touch of old wood that I really like, and then that ginger pops in, and then I don't think I've ever had this note before. I called it vanilla hemp, as in the hemp rope, the long-standing rope, and I can't even remember where I've last laid hands on a hemp rope.
That's the note. I was like, it's like
a Dead concert, wasn't it?
I was like, I was trying to describe it to Eric, and I was like, it's like if you put something in a new plastic container and it like gets a little bit of that plastic flavor, but hemp is the more spot on for that flavor. Yeah, it's like sucking on a wet rope.
Yeah, which is weird. Again, one of those weird notes where I was just like, "What?
What do you say, Eric? Not in a bad way, you know."
Yeah.
Like there's a good way to suck on a wet rope. Just kidding.
That's probably, I would call it it's more malty than 2. And it's probably not necessarily maltiness. It's probably that wet hemp rope Bart has all the experience with.
Those ropes hold up, baby.
I want to make a drink with that as just an accent piece.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that? Oh, that's a boulevardier with a wet hemp rope added to it.
I did work when I graduated high school. I went out to the East Coast, worked on a little cruise ship that would go up and down the coast, and we had those real thick lines, and we were always tying up all through Maine and Bar Harbor and Portland. And I remember that wet rope kind of had that. If you added in some salt in here, I'd be like,
Yep, that's it.
Yep.
This feels one of the smoother or the lighter ABVs.
It's smoother, but it also has a nice little like oaky spice to it.
Yeah, a little bit of spice. I got the finish. The way the palate sits on it up front, it's really kind of light, light fruits, light citruses, vanillas, oaks, and it feels light and it feels light ABV, and then you swallow it, but then all of a sudden it's like this punch then hits your palate with the finish.
Yeah,
I would say I had the most character of the 3. Not necessarily my favorite, but it had the most kind of character to it.
I still get some slight tropical fruits that I was getting on the nose are in there. Not real prevalent, but just in the background a little bit. Some mango.
Mango.
Juicy, not quite juicy fruit.
This is one too where if you run your tongue along the front of your teeth, you even get a little flavor, which that'll happen every once in a while, and it's like the sweetness is hung around or something.
Right.
That makes me think it's the oldest one probably here. I don't know. The way it does do that with your gums, even when you run your tongue through your gums and your teeth and you're still picking up stuff.
Steak and some potatoes from the other night.
Yeah.
It's a little whiskey tied in there. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
I love the linger though; it definitely lingers.
All righty. So, Scott, Bart, Eric, out of these four, not knowing the price, would you buy any of them, all of them? Which ones? Which ones did you like the best?
Well, it's hard to say without knowing the price.
See,
You got to know the price if you're going to buy it or not.
I liked all of them, so there was nothing here where I was like, nope.
Right.
No.
It's kind of like when somebody gives you like a really expensive whiskey. I'm like, oh man, that tastes really good. Like, how much is that? Oh no, I want to buy that. Oh, that's $3,000. No, I'm sorry.
One I probably wouldn't buy.
Okay.
One comes off to me as just being too young and too grainy. I probably haven't had it. I probably wouldn't buy one. The rest of them I would probably buy.
Okay.
Depending on price.
Yep.
I liked one too. I saved a little one and I just went back to it.
I would be most interested in 3 and 4.
Okay.
I mean, I'm interested in them all, but I'm slightly more.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was about to say I'm most interested in kind of the price point then, because 1 and 2 were good, but were they $25 good? Were they $80 good? It's open to debate.
All right, let's. You want to start hemming around the bacon and get to the hog?
Do it.
So, price point for 1, 2, and 3 were $17.99.
Wow.
Okay.
ABV was 46%.
On all 3?
All 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
46%.
All of them were 46%. All 4 were single malts.
Really? No grain?
Yep, no grain. They are from an NDP. They all came from Total Wine store. They are Highland Queen Majesty. That is their brand. So
I had one of those.
Number 1 was a Sauternes cask finish.
Oh, no shit.
Yep.
Nice.
Number 2 was a sherry cask finish. Yep. You have it, Eric.
I have the Sauterne.
Yeah, number 2 was the sherry cask finish. It does not say which type, but it is sherry. Number 3 was a burgundy red wine finish. And number 4 was the most expensive at $40.
Wow.
And non-finished, as it doesn't say on the bottle, 15 years old.
Oh.
Huh.
So all 4 of these cost $96.
Wow, that is phenomenal.
Now, I went through the doldrums of the Google machine, and this whiskey came from, and I'm going to butcher this name, Tullibardine Distillery?
Close.
Close.
Yeah, I'd say Tullibardine. Yeah.
Okay, yep. Tullibardine Distillery. Total Wine basically does all their NDP business with Alexander Murray. That bottling company, and through people I know and just finding out, that is where this particular whiskey came from.
You have a Tullibardine around, don't you?
Somewhere.
Unless it's at my place.
That one I don't know. I've got one here. It's in the odds and ends back there.
So story behind these. So typically my Fridays, we call them, in the superintendent golf course world, we call them Florida Fridays, where the superintendents get off at 10 o'clock to go fishing.
Wow.
10 o'clock in the morning. We start at 5 in the morning. So we're done with work on 10 o'clock and we go fishing. That's what the code is. But I go to Total Wine. I go fishing for whiskey. So I just stumbled across. I was looking for just something weird, and my latest hobby has been sub $50 NDPs for scotches. Just to and I've got a theory. I got a theory on there's way more palatable sub $50 NAS NDP scotches than there are sub $50 and over $50 non-NAS NDP bourbons. But I stumbled across these, and I was talking to Eric at the time, and I saw $17.99, and I was like, hell, I've never even heard of that. And I picked it up, and it said single malt, and I was like, single malt? And then it said 46%. I said, 46%? I was like, this can't be good. And I'm literally talking to him, and I was like, I gotta try it. And I was sitting there doing the mouth. I was like, hell, I might get out of here without busting a C note. I just bought all 4.
Sweet.
And I called Eric up after tasting. I was like, I don't hate these for sub $20. These are actually not bad.
I would agree. We need a Total store closer.
So let me know which one, if you want any Bard or Scott, or we can make something happen. But these were $17.99. It was not expensive at all.
You did not like the one, so I poured the rest of the one.
Actually, the other day, you made me kind of start second guessing myself with all of your fabulous notes you were getting. But the other day, I even said this kind of feel like it's the same, like you set us up with the same family tour again.
See, I couldn't tell. Did you want some of this before?
They had some similarities.
I presumed and took all the one. Okay. All right. He'll throat punch me. I wanted some of it.
Now we finally got Campbelltown in our area, and so Eric and I've been knee deep diving into there. But we'll stroll through Total Wine, or we'll stroll through some of these big box places, and I generally won't hit their store brands as much. Like I know Total Wine does like Greenstone and that. Like I generally try to shy away from those just because I know it mostly comes from all the same place. But $17.99, I had to give it a stab.
Yeah, I mean it's not bad. That's right in there. With the famous grouses.
These are cheaper.
Right? Yeah.
These are cheaper than the famous grouses. They're single malts and they're higher ABV. So
they're all really good.
Fairly impressed with that, but yeah, this is that 15. That 15. It doesn't say if it was finished in anything, but that's all it is. It's $40, 15-year-old single malt, Highland single malt Scotch whiskey.
Definitely one of the cheapest 15-year-olds you'll find.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
I wish I had a buddy that lived in Hawaii, and he would get me the Lagavulin, and at the Costco over there, it was like anytime he'd come over this way, he'd bring me a couple of bottles back. It was $60 there versus 110 at some of our regular grocery stores.
Wow,
that's a good price.
Oh yeah. But so I've enjoyed this, and Scott and Bart, thanks for coming on with us and doing this. Like I said, this has been my latest hobby and finding odds and ends, and thanks for humoring us and jumping on with us. We appreciate it.
Anytime, we like doing it. If you can get us both together on the weekend at some point.
Yeah.
All right, now I got a question. What is your favorite? Did you say you're both Eagle Scouts as well?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. What is your best Eagle Scout story? You got to have some cool story. Rafting, doing something, getting lost, running into a bear.
Eric, you want to take one?
Oh yeah, because you didn't camp.
I did what I had to do.
Oh, my best memory. Golly,
I'll run into Eagle Scouts, especially when I was in the Army every once in a while. It was weird because the Eagle Scouts were always like, all of a sudden they'd be like, you know what? You need to use this kind of hitch on that rope. I'm like, what are you even talking about? They're like, come on, put a little half loop in it. I'm like, oh my God. And then they would
taut line hitch they
would throw something together, and I'd be like, that's ingenious. So the rope tying ability alone was impressive.
That's
But
probably. I mean, it's not exciting, but that's probably one of my favorite memories. When I worked summer camp, I was over the area that taught the pioneering. So we'd start with an empty campsite at the beginning of the summer, and by the end of it, we'd have our rope bridge over here and a tower over here, and all kinds of wooden stick, and it smelled like a wet rope because we used hemp and manila and sisal rope to lash all these things together. And that was the coolest, just seeing it transform over the summer with all these thrown together stick projects that were actually usable and really cool.
love it. Got it.
Mine does not necessarily strictly Eagle Scout, more just scouting in general. I'm into about a bit. I have my hand in about 1,000 different pots as far as hobbies are concerned. So I'm actually I don't know what the exact title is. So I teach
Jiu-jitsu.
close. No. So I teach
Hemp
Roundup, Buffalo Bill Cody era American Indian dancing.
Oh, I wouldn't have guessed on that one.
That's usually the reaction. So it's the Roundup reservation period. In the Scouts has a kind of a fraternal organization called the Order of the Arrow, which is just American Indian version of the Freemasons.
I've been to several. Wichita used to have a great powwow that they would do every year.
Okay, yeah. So it's same
Hold on, I just
deal.
gotta throw this in there real quick.
Go ahead.
Where you go?
We were at work talking one day just a few weeks ago before I retired.
Yeah. Uh-oh. I must have said something.
Our coworker's in there, Danny,
Okay.
and Bart starts going on about the Wichita Museum.
This is true.
And how phenomenal it was.
Phenomenal. I
Oh,
love
my God.
museums. He started to mock me relentlessly.
There's no, what'd you see? Would they have a brick from,
Yeah.
the 1700s
What
in there?
they got an old potbelly stove in there. Was that phenomenal? I was like, actually, yeah.
One of the
Yeah.
original street signs.
Yeah, they had
1812.
little bronze plaque in there. Whoa, oh hell, they could make a bronze plaque. Whoa.
I guarantee it's not phenomenal.
I said it was phenomenal. I got lost in there. I thought I was going to be in and out. I was stuck. I was like, woo, look at this. They got a room.
Eric, you and Bart definitely need to talk on the side.
Well, the powwows here used to be awesome. I used to go as a kid, and I was friends with this one kid, Indian kid, Native American kid, that went out and would do the different dances and stuff. It was impressive.
So that's hilarious. Just to add a machete to this intellectual thicket. So that the fraternal organization, it's American Indian themed, but it's not the main focus of it. There is a section of it that is American Indian activities, and it's made up of experts, and we've got a corresponding American Indian group that works with us. And the particular area that I have studied, and I've been in it since when I was 13, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
I've been studying on it, and I'm very skilled in Central Plains American Indians, Northern Plains. Been to hundreds of museums. Been to South Dakota, North Dakota, that whole type of thing. But just going through historical aspects of the Roundup period in history, that whole type of thing, and that's kind of what I teach as far as passing down the history, because there's about 15, like other than some of the native elders of the Sioux, there's about 15 of us that know those intertwining details of that history. And so with the Boy Scouts, I still go. It's every 3 years they have a big conference. I go and teach that, show the beadwork, show the old quill work that they used to do, that type of thing. So that's kind of my thing that I'm 31 now, so 18 years I've been doing it.
Awesome. Yeah.
Anything other the statute of limitations stories I can't say, but that's a clean one that I like. That's a good memory.
No, the beadwork's amazing. My mom, what happened was my mom was here. I was here as a kid before we moved to the mountains of Colorado, and one of her professors was Native American, and she was taking Native American studies. And then he had a son the same age as me, so we got to be friends. But that's what got us to all these powwows and hanging out and everything. And it was just it was very, very interesting.
Scott or Bart,
That's
Barty,
cool.
do you like antique stores?
I don't. I don't.
Okay.
I don't shop. He'll get on me because I'm not much of a shopper. If I was gonna, I would be more of the hunter. Go get it, and get back. He's a collector. You collect.
That's not how
stuff.
hunting works.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I
You
would.
just go get it.
Well,
Eat it.
maybe it's modern day. I will look, find what I want, watch some reviews, boom, go get it. I'm in and
Yeah.
out. It's like a mission.
I'm the same way. I don't shop. I purchase.
Yeah, it's like a targeted acquisition. I know what I want. I kind of know where it is. I go get it, and then I'm in and out. You'd think Home Depot was a danger zone.
I don't consider myself an expert on anything, but Eric can attest to. He calls me the whiskey rain man, just because I have a really great memory, and I can just spout shit off. Just going. I mean, Eric was just getting into whiskey, and he was asking me about Orphan Barrel Project. And so I was telling him, I said, "Oh yeah," and so I go through it, and then I go off and this was a couple years ago. I go off every whiskey that they made, and read and go through the description. And while I'm at work, just talking to him on the phone, he goes, "My God, I'm fact checking your ass, and I'm on the computer, and you are word for word."
Yeah, that's him. I might remember like this experience around a whiskey, or maybe even a story that happened, and I could tell the story, and then but I would, like, someone will ask like, "Have you guys tried this?" I'm like, He'd be like, "Yeah, we did, 2011. You thought it had a fruit taste." I'm like, "God dang, what? How the hell do you know that?" And he's like, "You have it on your shelf, third row down behind the 101 Wild Turkey." I'm like, "Shut!" And then I'm like, "He's making shit up." And then I'll get home and look, and I'll be like, "Oh my God, there it is. How the hell do you do that?"
Yeah, Eric just goes. He's like a 10 minutes to wop. There's a definitely 20% rye. Heaven Hill Distillery. And I'm like, and yeah, the Orphan Barrel stuff, because he ran through like a dozen barrels, and I'm just sitting there like clicking through. I'm like, how do you know this?
It's always been it. I don't know. I've always been able to just either memorize things really quickly, or phonographic memory, just whatever. But tying that into like an antique store, I'll go to an antique store, but I won't buy anything. I'll just go in there, and whoever was with me, I'll just be like, "Oh yeah, that was so and so, and that came out," and it's like, "God damn it! I wish I don't want to shop with you."
Yeah, that's him. And then he's good on presentation too. Like, he'll pop by the house. I'll be like, "What'd you do today?" Because I've done nothing. He's like, "Built some whiskey shelves." I'm like, "What? How'd you do that?" "I did a new technique. Used plumber's pipe," which is what you're saying. I'm like, "You use plumber's pipe?" "Yeah, I was able to get it, and then I did it wood, and then I'm like, "Oh my God, how long did that take you?" "A couple hours." I'm like, "That would have taken me a week, and it would have been all jacked up. You would have mocked me." And he's like,
Still been in pieces.
"Yeah," he would have been like, "Yeah, that's a shit job. What do you
still have his tape measure?
Yeah, what'd you try to use on that? Linseed oil?" And I'd be like, "I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what it means."
I don't even know what that word means. You just making stuff up
What are you
now.
talking about? Who's that?
No, that sounds like me.
Oh Lord!
Woo!
But guys, we appreciate it. Like I said, we try not to show our fanboyage too much for the Scotch Dummies, but we're huge fans of y'all's guys, and like I said, y'all are pretty big inspiration for us doing our thing, and keep doing what you're doing. We'll keep watching and keep supporting, and we appreciate you coming on with us and drinking some NDP samples 1 through 5, 4 whiskeys, and we appreciate it, guys.
And the thing, some people don't like doing the blinds.
Oh, love it.
Because
they
they're
get
afraid.
scared.
Well, yeah, they're
Get
afraid
scared.
they're going to mess up, or they're going to call something
Yeah,
wrong.
I said that was grain, and it's single malt. Oh God.
That the blind. Go ahead, Todd. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying it's a learning experience, so take it.
The blind tasting is the reason I'm one of Rare Bird's Patreons, Rare Bird 101. Wild Turkey is my distillery. That's my love. Wild Turkey, will forever be a Wild Turkey fan. But that is how I became one. I had it in a blind, and it beat out all the rest of them. And I didn't even know I think my wife set it up, but I was just like, you know what, because I went into that FOMO stage where I was just like, oh, I got to get the BT or the Eagle Rare, and I was like, what? I don't even really like this. It's like do I like it because it's rare or whatever.
Right.
So
Right.
after I went through that FOMO stage, I just sat down and I put some stuff out that I thought I liked, some stuff that I didn't like, and Wild Turkey came out as the one I really loved, and so Wild Turkey's been my distillery ever since.
And here's my other catch-all. For us being the inspiration, here's what we have found out the most. People watch the show and go, damn, if they can do it, we can do a YouTube show too.
Yeah.
Because these guys, what are they doing? Nothing. They ain't doing nothing. We can do that. We know that. We've had people go, damn, how did you know our conversation? I'm like, because that's it. You're like, we can do that.
Oh, that's great. We love it. So, guys, thank you again. Check out Scotch Test Dummies on their YouTube show, Instagram, Facebook, all the social medias. Eric, where can they find us?
You can find us on YouTube, which you may be watching us on, Facebook, which you may be watching us on, or Instagram. All our social media information. Actually, no, it won't follow because this is a live video. But you can check us out there, and we also have a little bit of a podcast going on Shout Engine and Apple Podcast called Eric's Drink Whiskey, Non-Chill Filtered. And it's where you get all of our yammerings back and forth that don't make it into our videos.
That's good. The podcast's good. We're actually not on Facebook because...
Oh, okay. My bad.
The Facebook confuses me. Or whatever. What are they changing it to? They're going to call it something. Oh, sorry.
Easy.
Wrapping up.
Anyway, no. So we're the podcast Eric's Drink Whiskey Non-Chill Filtered. We do about an hour's worth of filming down to a 15-minute video, and it's you can hear our cursing and yammering and just going through everything. But thanks, guys, for jumping on, and we will see y'all next time. Hopefully, with something a little more crazier.
Yep. Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Good.
Good time.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys.